motion to amend the agenda. I'd like to add a first read of an ordinance proposal to the new business.
I'll second that.
Right, Steve?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
We're gonna start with, guests. And we have State Rep Mark Hart here to talk about flood mitigation and floodplain sinks.
Hopefully this is all news to you guys, because I think they've come and made the presentation to you all about green sinks. But what's changed since they've made the presentation to you, we're trying to make this more of a regional project. And on December the 10th, we're gonna be having a meeting in Frankfurt, and it'll consist of all the county officials from Pendleton, Bourbon, and Harrison County. There's been some preliminary talks with the other two counties, and they're, for the most part, almost on board with doing the same thing. And if we can start developing these green sinks, especially downriver from Falmouth, it's gonna help lower the level of the flood. And I mean, depending on how many communities start participating in it, the larger the increase will be for the depth level. And you know, on some of these places when they built the buildings, well, like Craig's store there, when they constructed that, they built that up a little bit. So you know, if you get a foot or two drop in the level, the flood level, that's going to be a big help to everybody. The other thing with it is, as y'all were probably brought aware of, it'll also help lower it'll change the flood zone maps, and so it'll help lower flood insurance. It's going to kind of be like a domino effect. You're not going to prevent the flood, but it's going to help you mitigate it to where people can get lower flood insurance, and you won't possibly have as much damage. Or in some cases, if you lower it enough, there'll be some buildings and places that won't get water in them at all. So what we're trying to do, or what I'm trying to do, Tammy's been a big help with me on this, is after learning about it, we're trying to take it to more of a regional level. And our first meeting is the 10th in Frankfurt, and you guys will be getting invited to that if you haven't already got invited to it. My office is setting it up. But at that meeting, we're gonna have people from FEMA and the EPA there that can explain the flood insurance, how it can help that. We're gonna have the guy that presented to you all, he's gonna be there. But we're gonna have a myriad of county officials from the 3 counties in the cities, and then there'll also be like KITCO, KLC, some other state agencies. It's gonna be a pretty big meeting, but we're hoping that these 3 counties can be the model, and then especially for us, if we can move this into Eastern Kentucky. I know Moorhead's already on board, and they're starting to do some stuff. But the farther downstream and the more communities we get involved with it, the better it's going to help us if there is a flood again. We know there will be. It's just a matter of how can we mitigate it. So what I'm asking, because I'm wanting to go into this meeting and I'm wanting to be able to present to them, you know, my county's already on board. You know, after the flooding that we've had in '97 and after, we've bought into this. So I've got meetings with you all, the court, and the city of Butler coming up in the next week and a half. And I'm asking each one of y'all to pass this resolution that I've got in front of you. And the other thing I'm asking for is I'm asking each one of the cities if there's a possibility that you all could commit $11,000 to this program, and I'm asking the county for $31,000. Because if we get the 53,000 that we need, then possibly in 18 months we can have construction started on some of these here in our city, and we can start mitigating it. And so that's my proposal, or my ask in a nutshell. Me or Tammy will try to answer any questions you have.
We just got that, what, $25,000 check?
No, that's what I was gonna say. We have the $25,000 we got from the Adam Scripps Foundation that we got for flood recovery. This would be I mean, almost half of it, but it would be an excellent, I mean, the best way to spend it towards flood recovery is flood mitigation.
Yep.
And this, I mean, there's no dam coming, there's no wall coming, this is the only conversation about any kind of real flood mitigation that is even
Yeah,
been a thing for years, so I mean,
I've been down in Frankfurt for 9 years. It's always talked about, but the stuff that they talk about, like flood walls and stuff, there's no way where it's cost effective for communities our size to do. And then you look at our city where we're surrounded on three sides with I mean, are we gonna build a wall around the entire city? I mean, it's just not feasible, but this is a very doable project, and we're not talking millions of dollars, we're talking like hundreds of thousands. But the advantage that Falmouth's got compared to other communities, you all have already got buyout property that this can be used for. So you're not gonna have to go out and try to find the property or ask for easements or try to purchase easements. You've got it. And there's already been some donations made to get, I guess, what, the engineering and stuff done.
The engineer, that's what the 53,000, the engineer, and I think you were at that meeting, he was at Sabrina. He come back and for the modeling for the city of Falmouth is gonna be 53,000. So I've asked him to amend that to include the city of Butler, to include that in cost, cause we want this as a county project. We're getting money but it has not come through yet. And with the upcoming legislative cycle, the only thing we're missing is the construction phase. So we want to go ahead and get this modeling through, get the design phase, and some of that funding we may be able to shift to construction if we can get to 3 entities to cover the cost of the engineering. And so that's kind of where we're at. We met with Mark, and I mean, it's just like your light bulb goes on, you know, there's no way we cannot do this. It's a life-saving measure, not only for economic benefit, but for residents to be able to take that north end of the city and use some of your FEMA buyout property, reduce their cost. We can't get people to invest in Pendleton County to build their business if they think they might be flooded and don't have the potential to regain that return on their investments. So this not only is a local citizen property owner, it's for the economic vitality of the city of Falmouth. And I think, everybody we talk to, it seems to be a good program, and the invitation, Mark, did go out this afternoon. It went out late this afternoon, so check your email, she should have gotten the invitation.
And you might not have this yet, but we set up a Zoom link for this meeting too. The conference room we're gonna use down there, we're gonna do it in one of the rooms that's got the cameras in it. That way, if any of the council members, if you can't make the trip to Frankfurt, if you can get to your computer or something, you can watch it and be a part of it, so.
What is that date?
December 10th.
10 a.m.
I mean, do you guys want to, I know Steve's gonna read the resolution later, but there is the $25,000 to fund the engineer part of that. If you guys wanna make a motion, because we've never decided what you guys were gonna spend that money on, we haven't allocated it to anything yet, so.
Yeah, by all means. I mean, it's a no-brainer if you ask me. And ever since they came in, made the presentation about the green sinks, like I think it's the wisest long-term choice, because as you're saying, like things like flood walls, it only protects yourself and our city, and the geography of it, it's not very feasible. But
And the one thing that I liked about it, flood wall won't help lower your insurance ratings, but this could.
interesting.
So, and on the meeting on the 10th, we will have the people from the federal government there to explain that a little bit more in depth.
Do they need a motion then to allocate $11,000 to that?
Are we gonna do it down
I
here?
don't know, I don't think it's in the resolution, is it, the 11,000?
No, I don't think it is. That was an ask, and I'm just
We
asking.
probably need to do a separate resolution.
Okay, then we can pass a separate resolution for the money at the next meeting then.
Alright.
Okay.
Or if you could you want to add it to this? Would that be easier?
We need to actually have a resolution typed out. that
Okay.
can Be distributed and signed.
All right. So, yeah.
Do you have to have a resolution to facilitate the money, or can you do that by motion? After you pass
It's
the
not been
resolution.
budgeted, you know, I mean,
Oh,
so,
that's right.
so
Okay.
we've gotta
Yeah.
account for it.
I was gonna say, if it's not been budgeted, you
Yeah.
have to do
Probably an ordinance, right?
Yeah, because of the budget.
which Paul's coming to the next meeting anyway, so we can go, because we have some other budgetary moves that we were making, so that'll work.
So is it safe for me to say when I meet with the other entities
Yeah,
that you all are in the process of getting the money budget, or in the
Do you want-
budget
Do
to
you
where
want a
you,
motion to
just to
just
approve the
to-
idea? I
To
guess.
approve, to pass that.
I
that's
just
the
don't want to
plan.
misrepresent you guys when I go to the other meetings.
I mean, I'm not gonna speak for them, but I mean, if
so
you
how
wanna
would-
do
how
a
would we word that?
straw
'Cause we're not
tally
actually
of
a-
what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
Is anybody opposed to
You
the
can-
idea? There we go.
No, I'm
Okay.
not.
You
I
just-
say, like,
Nobody's opposed to it.
Okay, then
I can't speak for a minute,
and that's
but-
fine with me. So I just, when I talk to because you know what the way it works, and Butler's gonna wanna know what Falmouth and the county's doing, and the county's gonna wanna know what
I
Falmouth.
mean, I
Butler's
doubt
doing.
anybody's gonna come in here and flip enough of them to not pass it. I think you'll be okay.
All right.
Or can you do a motion instructing to create the resolution?
You could do a motion
Yes.
instructing the city attorney to craft a budget and
We'll get it in writing one way or
I'll
another.
make a motion that we do that.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Alright,
you could take
everybody, yes?
Yes.
Okay, there we go.
That's why you're the best yes man in Frankfurt. Thank you guys, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Steve, I'll send you everything in a Word document if you wanna duplicate it,
that works. That works.
retype and duplicate R&D.
That's what I'm good at.
Now we're gonna give the floor over to Tammy,
Yes.
who is here to talk to us about a T-Mobile grant.
The T-Mobile grant, it's called a hometown grant, that they do grants throughout the year, on a quarterly basis on projects that are community-based. And one of the things that, it had been looked at is what can we do differently and make some visual improvements in downtown. They give up to $50,000 per community, and they do 25 of them per quarter. And looking at the potential for the city of Falmouth doing a downtown program, I had listed 2 potential projects. One called Restoring Falmouth's Heart Downtown Facade Microloan Program. That would be taking the $50,000 and using it to create this revolving microloan program where on a low interest, up to $5,000, a downtown property owner could do exterior visible improvements such as paint, signage, windows, awning. So instead of seeing a piece of plywood over a window, we up to $5,000 would help them get a window installed. If their door frames are rotted out because of wood and things like that. So you would encourage them to take advantage of it. Now, as far as it being a low interest, the reason why you would do that is to get that money to keep reinvesting itself into the city of Falmouth. You're gonna get a lot of people who are probably gonna want, well, we would rather you just grant us to it. But just like we're doing with our grants, if you don't reinvest and show investment in yourself, how can you expect someone to give you money? So one of the grants I had doing flood recovery was CDBG. We had $250,000. It had a 5-year, it was over 5 years. We actually put a mortgage lien on there, and 1/5 of it fell off every 5 years. Something this small, you can't do that. So, but I don't know how, if you would want to do that, if you would just want to do something on a loan basis, or if you want to do something on a gift. It could be just for downtown, or however you want to do that, but downtown I think would have a lot of opportunity. The other one would be, we have a lot of vacant downtown buildings that have some windows that could use a little TLC. Maybe we could do a art in the heart of downtown where we would work with individuals and organizations, students, to do these movable window screens that would be painted, and it could be that they rotate. They could be things, and you can create an educational moment with it where you could do historical significance. You could do things that require them to have some mathematics where they have to do measuring. So you can do some things to make it an educational opportunity as well as do a visual improvement downtown. If we can create the visual appearance that we're happy about our downtown, as visitors and tourists and potential business people who may or may want to locate here, they're going to enjoy seeing that we take pride in our community. And so I feel like this would be a real opportunity for you all to potentially do that. I wanted to get input from you all if you would like for me to apply for the grant, and if so, what kind of projects would you want to do? There is no match, it's up to $50,000, so it would be a great opportunity for y'all to do something.
And this is all because she heard that little idea that we were talking about here in this meeting, and this is why we really need to have a position with economic development for our city, because it's this kind of stuff is that we're missing, is that she hears an idea of something we've kind of discussed, and now she's going out and she's looking for ways to fund that for us and finding grants for us. But, so thank you so
very
much
much
for
economic
helping.
development.
Yes,
And
no, I
so-
really appreciate it.
Because when we're looking to attract an industry and we bring them into our community, we want to have our best Sunday clothes on our buildings. And, you know, right now, some days it's kind of disheartening. So maybe if we do something like this, and if the revolving loan fund doesn't work, you could do a 50-50, where you'll give them up to $5,000, you'll give to $2,500, but they have to pay $2,500 back. You know, I guess the biggest thing is the challenge is what can you do to engage the property owners to want to take advantage of this funding? And it might have to be a 50-50, or you ask them to put up $250, or ask them to put 10%, something like that. So how do you get the investment that they just don't take advantage of the funding and you don't see results, but they buy into the community spirit of it?
And what do you guys think? What do you guys want to do? Do you guys want to?
I will say it does sound like a good avenue to explore, and I do know the microloan program. It actually sounds like a really good idea, because it does, while it does help give the business owners some money, it also shows us, if they're willing to take out the microloan, while they don't have exorbitant fees that they've got to pay back, it also shows us that they're willing to put the effort into it. And I do know I had a business owner, the people that own the mystery box said that they were moving around the corner, and they asked me a couple weeks ago, I think, that wanted to know if there were any grants or anything that the city ourselves offered, because they had to replace a window in the storefront of the building that they're moving to around the corner. And I know just something like that would probably be something that would go, hand in hand with exactly what they're looking for. And, not only them, but, anybody else can use this program to help make downtown look better. And I think that's a pretty good idea.
I mean, I kind of like the idea of the partial grant, partial loan. So, because essentially people might just be like, well, why am I going to go borrow it? Not everybody might want to borrow the whole amount. I think that partial grant, partial loan might be a good option.
And
Yeah.
if you want to cover your investment, and it's, I don't know, it's steep, put a lien for that $2,500 that falls off in 12 months. Make it, because one of the things that we wanted to be sure, especially when we did those, was we didn't want people to use the money to fix things up and then sell it and gain profit from it. So that's the other part that you'll definitely want to consider, is how do you keep that from happening? And that, you may not be in first lien position, you may be second, you may be third.
It would be in there.
But you do have a chance of getting your investment back. Or if they, belly up on it, it's not that much money. But again, we need the community to buy in. If we get one successful beautification project, somebody else is going to be inspired to do it. If we engage our Chamber of Commerce, our Tourism Commission and Council, our schools, our churches, to help beautify our community. I was the first downtown Main Street manager in Falmouth. And, there was things then with Main Street, it changed to Renaissance and different things. But they had a Paint the Town program. And, it's things like that that make a difference. If you can come in and just do these little things to help make the exterior while you continue to work on the other things, people were very positive with how they felt like your community invested in itself. And that seems to be something I'm hearing a lot. If you don't financially and otherwise invest in your community, how do you expect them to give you money?
Yeah.
Because the return on investment for them is larger. And nowadays, they're not gonna do that as willy-nilly as they may have in the past. So, to me, this would show an investment in your own community. You can take it and revolve it, keep it there. That way, if someone has wind damage and, they had, second story siding that come off that cost, $1,000 by the time they got done, they could come and say, hey, we need $1,000, can you help us? That insurance didn't cover, things like that. So I think you will have to put a committee together on how you want to structure it, how you want to do the loan portion of it. But I don't think it would be that difficult.
So what decisions do we need to make for you to go ahead and apply for the grant?
I think if you all are interested, if you want to just by motion say, we would like to apply for the T-Mobile grant and designate what you want me to do, because I need to understand how to apply the application.
Okay, so what do you guys want to do with it? Do you want to open it up to just downtown? Do you want to restrict it to just downtown? Do you guys want to make it any business, I guess, front in the city? Do you guys want to do a loan grant? What do you guys want to do?
I'd say any business, if you ask me. I mean,
I think your
Any
priority, you're gonna have a better chance of it if you focus on your downtown. And it could be that, if you have a scorecard, where are you located? Are you in the downtown? Are you, and, or say a percentage of it, for every 2 downtown loans, you have so many that are eligible for any other business. But again, it's just, if you go down 27 and you look at your businesses, they don't seem to have the same issue with facades as your downtown does. So, but I don't disagree with you, Anthony. It's just a tough one to figure out what's the best way to do this.
So I mean, if we open it to everybody and then they do it like based off the scorecards, would it be more, could we apply then more points to a certain sector? Is that something they could put into their,
You could develop your scorecard however you want.
is that what you guys wanna?
it's fine. I just want to make sure it wasn't like only downtown, like other businesses, profit from, but not profit.
I mean,
Benefit.
But they have to have a physical location open.
Yeah.
It is
In the
for
city
property owners.
Yes, like
It
in the
is.
city limit, not just any business, like they need to, the property owners needs to go after the
It is,
grant.
this is designed for property owners because they are where the investment is. So if I'm leasing a building, I personally could not come after the money. It would have to be the person I'm leasing from. Because they're the one who's gonna get the return on investment because you're improving the value of the property.
Yeah, I mean, it would make sense before they went and made those changes to the property, they get the landlord's approval anyways, they could just have their landlord apply for the grant on their behalf.
And thus improving
Yeah.
the value of downtown and the reciprocal effect.
So is that what you guys wanna do? Is that enough of the details?
Just give me direction on how you want me to fashion the grant.
I'm up in the air as to whether loan or granting the money to the businesses. I guess I can sway either way. I prefer the loan option just because then you can then take the money and keep rolling it. Like if you grant some, then yeah, you get it back in other ways, technically, but it's a little bit out there,
You wanna do a full loan is what
Yeah.
your preference would be? Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, they all wanna do a full loan and open to any business, and then they will do scorecards that will, I guess, rate these businesses and
Property owners.
the property owners, and it seems that they're going to give more point preference to our central downtown area.
Just throwing it out there for a scorecard, probably also need to put in some sort of weight for how many times you've applied for it. Like, don't want just like one person keep doing it over and over again.
Well, I think it per property.
Okay, so
I mean, because if they,
property.
essentially, if a person owns 7 properties, then I guess essentially they could apply 7 times, because it would be, I think it'd be better to restrict it per property than,
Yeah.
then, you
Per
know,
address, per
yeah.
building.
Fair
I would
enough,
wanna
yeah.
do it. And I think your scorecard is gonna be your direction on where your results lie, because you can put in there, you know, are they applying for multiple buildings, and you could reduce that score or increase it, you know, so that you don't have one person who owns 3 properties get 90% of the money. You know, the idea is to diversify it and hopefully get a lot of participation.
Yeah.
Do you want to split any of this and do downtown visualization, I can't talk, where we do window murals or anything like that, or do you wanna do it 100% towards beautification, facade improvements? And it's exterior, I would not go into the inside, it's exterior only.
I would, my thoughts is the facade improvements.
Yeah, I think that's more,
Okay.
Okay.
that's more important.
Full loan to any property owner in the city limits of Falmouth. And we'll have to create a committee, develop a point system to grade those. And we can get back together when we get awarded. Miss Positivity here. So,
Thank you so
all right.
much.
thank you.
Okay, now we're going to move down to accept the meeting minutes of October 16th, 2025.
May I speak as a guest before you do?
Oh, yes, you may.
Yes, I did.
Oh, sorry, did I?
This is brief, because I have no presentation prepared. I'm just requesting the council to consider, once the tennis courts are completed at the middle school, that the ones by the athletic park be converted to pickleball. The extension office held a beginner's class this summer, and since there's been a group of 15 to 20 people who want to play out there, and the courts aren't in good shape out there. So just would like you in your discussion time, keep that in mind. If I need to do anything else, like I said, I don't have a presentation on cost or anything like that, but
No, I had somebody else reach out and they like had a whole design for it actually, for like a pickleball and some of the whole drawing. And I think it's a great idea. I think we just need to figure out, it's essentially part of a joint recreational facility. And so it's a little complicated, the situation over there. So we need to get that fixed before we can really move
the
forward.
park
Can
had
we do that on our own though, since we own it? They don't.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Technically, since we're the owners, we can
I mean, you could.
modify.
I think the
property,
biggest
right?
thing is research how that grant was written when.
Because I think essentially it's supposed to all be one thing over
Yeah,
there
we're gonna
together,
hold to
probably by the original grants, and it wasn't supposed to be pulled apart, and it kind of was, and we're
Yeah, or. are
wading
you
through
outs-
that.
Are you outside of that grandfather window where you can do what you want? Well, I think that would be a question, is what grant restrictions do you have on it? And have those ceased and then you can do what you want.
I'm saying just a few more things, is that the tennis court at the park was, one tennis court made 3 courts. One, you don't wanna play on the standards. But it would be nice because you have services for the youth. you
Oh
have
no, I think it'd be a
services for
great
the-
idea.
the
I think it would
Special
be.
needs, it'd be nice for us old ladies.
I mean, I
to
think
have
it-
kids to play.
No, I know, and that's again like why it's supposed to be part of that facility, and that would be like an improvement to the whole facility over there. I mean, so it would be a great addition to the facility. I mean, because I know pickleball's become a big thing. My dad had painted. He actually kind of got into that a couple of years ago before he died, and at the end of his driveway down at their house, he painted a pickleball court, and so he taught us how to play pickleball. I'd never heard of it before until I'm like, wait, what? And it's really fun if nobody's
Probably
played.
expensive to turn that.
I mean, my dad did it at the end of his driveway. I mean, it's not, but to have a true level, I mean, it's not very
But
expensive.
since they leased that from us, and they don't anymore, wouldn't they just be ours to do what we wanted to do, to feed them a lot, or not? I don't know.
No, because
Based
the
on
whole
the
thing
grant.
is part of this
Grant.
joint recreational, it's a thing, and I know other people don't wanna recognize that it's all one facility together, it is. And so we really need to figure that part out before we just go making improvements into something.
And I may not know what I'm talking about here, but isn't there a thing in Kentucky about getting Kentucky moving, and is there grant money for that?
Yeah, I mean, the RC Durham gave the grant to Kincaid Lake to transfer theirs, and they're constantly, I mean, 7 a.m. in the morning during the summer. I
Did
mean,
they put a pickleball court out there at
they,
Kincaid?
there's, yeah,
Yeah, I thought so, yeah.
they transitioned their tennis courts and repaved it because there was like a divot and.
It
repainted
wasn't repainted, it was just fill the cracks.
Right, they fixed it, they
Mhm.
painted it and paved in that one spot and did a little bit of cosmetic work to make it suitable for that type of movement. And, but yeah, I mean, and again, I think, you know, excluding that part, the grant was written to create those. And what are the caveats and what are the covenants with that? You know, would determine, I don't think it would be a problem, you might just have to say, you know, again, because that grant was written so long ago, it may not have any value.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. It's a great idea, though. I think it would be a great addition over there.
Yeah, good idea.
Okay. Now we can move on to accept the minutes for the meeting.
Do that we accept the minutes, October 16th?
I'll second.
Everybody in favor?
Yeah.
Okay. Now we're gonna move on to the RFQs for the engineering firms. So there were 4 of them. I've gone through and scored them. I've talked to Christian about it. I've talked to Richard about it. I printed off a blank scorecard. You guys are more than welcome to kind of score your own. I was kind of hoping we could either pick the top 2 and call them in for interviews if you want to, or we can just go with, however you guys want to do this, or we can pick one tonight. I mean, I've highlighted, I can go over the different packets and the different things that I've kind of highlighted, or why I scored different ways. I think Summit and HMB probably have the most experience with water and wastewater from the projects that they presented. I think that HMB's done work for us before, so has Summit, or not Summit, but Mark Stevens, who's at Summit. Mark Stevens has done work for us before when he was with a different engineer firm. But I ranked HMB lower on the city's needs, just because in the meeting that I had with them a couple months ago, they weren't real interested in more or less what the city's needs were, and it was more pushing the regional water plant, which is a big project for them that they would make a substantial amount of money off of, far more greater than our projects combined, all of them. So I think that kind of clouds their ability to listen to what the city's wanting to do or the city's wants and needs. So I kind of feel like it's a big conflict of interest at this point. And really the meeting just really wasn't constructive. We have the other 3 are all based in Lexington, HMB's in Frankfurt, so they're all somewhat close. This other one that I'd kind of gone with the second highest, they seem to be of maybe a smaller group, but they are local to Northern Kentucky. They grew up in Campbell County, one of the guys, so, and they ended up kind of being my second pick. They do have some municipality experience. They do work with SD1, Boone County water main expansion, but they seem to have a heavier focus or more experience in like road projects, which would make sense. Northern Kentucky's probably a little more geared to their bigger road projects. But my overall top pick was Summit. just with their experience. They've done a lot of projects. They've worked with Falmouth before. They are doing projects with Cynthiana. And they have, I mean, extensive Butler, Cynthiana, Falmouth, Williamsburg, Elizabethtown, Bullock Penn Water District, Northern Kentucky Water District, Nicholasville, Kentucky, Somerset, Flemingsburg, and that's all just utility water and sewer projects. So they have, and that is a big need that we have, as somebody that has a large knowledge in that. But those were my thoughts and ideas on it.
Who was the local?
They are KL or DLZ. They're based out of Lexington, but the gentleman, Michael Draper, it says, I guess, oh, here we go. I highlighted this part. Mike is intimately familiar with Falmouth, having grown up in Campbell County, Kentucky. So he's from Campbell. I haven't either. I mean, I don't know any of these people, but.
I'd be interested in talking with your top two fixes you have here. I mean, the only thing that kind of concerns me is, like you said, the DOZ, they have, limited experience. I guess if that's the correct term to put it on the water and sewer, and that is kind of important, so. But I would like to still give that an opportunity.
I mean, you want to have them come in, and I mean,
Yeah, I think it would be nice to have them, a representative from each, the summit and the DLZ, just to come, so they can come chat with us and, maybe get a good feel of where they're at.
so what you guys want to go with?
Yeah, I mean, my thoughts are that I'd probably just end up leaning towards the best, towards water and sewer, 'cause that's what we need more than anything else.
And I will say, based off of the numbers that I was kind of looking at, Summit did actually put on like their projects, like the amount of the project on some of their stuff, and then what their costs were, and they were like an 8 to 11%. But that all comes out of your project costs. It's not something that we'd really kind of be directly paying. But I think cost-wise, they're all going to be relatively the same. But
What do you estimate cost would be?
based off of the projects that we get grants for, the money for, that we move forward on, and designing those projects, it's just a lot of that's going to be project-based.
So DLD or DLZ, like zebra?
Zebra.
That's what I thought, that's what threw me off.
Yeah. And then the other one is RMJE. Okay, so I can reach out to Summit and I can reach out to DLZ then and see when they would be available, or, I mean, worst case, even if we end up doing a telephone call or a Zoom call, like we did that with the roofing or something one time, with a group.
Yeah, just that was Tyson Hermes, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
Looking at the roof.
yeah, so we can.
Person who could.
Yeah, no, I mean, I would like to too. I mean, do we want them both here on the same night then at the next meeting? We have Paul coming to the next meeting.
Shouldn't take that long, should it? You never know.
How many questions we got for him, guys?
Okay, so I'll reach out, see what their availability is for the next meeting. If they're not available for that day, then we can see, maybe we can call a special meeting. Don't worry, we won't make you drive all the way down here for that. And it'll be on the same night or different nights, so we'll figure it out from there, and we can set up an interview then. Okay. And then I gave you guys blank scorecards if you guys wanna look over and kinda score them yourself too, or whatever, you're more than welcome. Right, now it's your turn, Steve, on to the resolutions.
Alright. Now let's read your handbook.
We have resolution number 110625-1, a resolution authorizing Mayor Sabrina Hazen to execute for and in behalf of the city of Falmouth for obtaining federal financial assistance under the Disaster Relief Act.
You just need a motion? We just need a motion. You guys are okay with that?
Make a motion to accept resolution 11.06.25-1.
I'll second.
Everybody in favor?
Yep.
Yes.
Next piece of legislation we have is resolution 11.06.2025-2, a resolution of support for the Pendleton County Flood Mitigation and Flood Plan Initiative.
And again, we just need a motion and a second.
I'll make a motion to accept resolution number 11.06.2025-2.
Second.
Everybody in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
The next piece of legislation is resolution 11.06.25-3, a resolution approving the mayor's appointment of Betty Turner to the Falmouth Housing Authority Board to serve the remaining term of John Fields due to a resignation for a term ending January 31st, 2021.
I know you, I think you interviewed a few people. I guess what are the highlights?
Didn't really speak to many. I spoke to the chair of the board and I spoke to the director over there and kind of weeded out and kind of narrowed it down to 2.
Yeah.
And then I feel like Miss Turner has really put in some time and has the time to learn. The housing authority's not an easy board. There's a lot of things to learn over there, and I think she would do a good job.
Yeah, we do have to deal with the federal government.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah. So we just
I'll make a motion that we appoint.
Little online courses
yeah.
to deal with that. I bunch of Tom Day.
And this is why Steve is sitting as the proxy on that board. It's a lot of work. All right, so go ahead, Joyce.
I'll make a motion that we appoint Betty Turner to the Housing Authority.
I'm second.
Everybody in favor?
Yeah.
Yes.
And she couldn't be here tonight because she is down with the cold herself. So if you could send her contact information to Tisha and to Emily at the housing authority.
Megan, do you know what number ordinance this would be?
It's like 14
Okay.
something, like 2025-14 something like that.
This is an ordinance of the city of Falmouth, ordinance number that we believe to be 2025-14, an ordinance amending section 35.03 of the Code of Ordinances of the city of Falmouth, Kentucky to increase the minimum staffing of the police department to include the police chief and 6 officers. What this legislation does, down in section 1, you'll see the amended portions, the portions that are being amended and deleted are lined through, and then the bold lettering is what will be replacing that. I guess there was a typo on "and legal," where there is an N being replaced with an N, and then 3 would be turned to a police chief, and 6. There are no other changes to that section besides those. This is a first reading.
And you guys wanna discuss it, or you guys just wanna wait till the next meeting and discuss it to vote on it, cause there's no vote, just the first reading, so.
We can just wait. I don't have anything to say. At least not right now.
Okay. Moving along to the employee handbook, did you guys get a chance to read over the handbook? Or the proposed changes on this handbook?
Does this include feedback from the employees?
Do what?
Does this include feedback from the employees of the department leads?
No. I mean, Marty did though, send, the police
I sent
department.
the one me and you talked about.
And then he, but you had changes, and so you sent that to everybody though, right?
I thought we.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, so I mean, like Marty, so I mean, like, so you had input from Marty. I mean, some of the stuff though, these aren't anything, this is not any changes we've suggested to him. This was the things he went in himself, and these are the suggested changes without even meeting with us yet. So I have been emailing, but kind of back and forth with him on a couple of things, because like I told him, we definitely wanted to switch, you know, to the 37.5 at least, for the requirement to receive benefits, instead of it being a 40-hour a week requirement to receive city benefits. We could have employees essentially working 37.5 hours and still receive city benefits, or 35 hours, whatever you guys ended up wanting to go with. And we talked about a few other things, and when he's coming, the reason why I kind of wanted to touch base with all this, he comes November like 20 something to sit down and kind of talk more in depth detail. And so I wanted to have kind of some ideas from you guys, or suggestions, or, I mean, I have several. We do need to work on a mission statement is one thing that he's saying here on the first page. I think we need to get a policy in there on the uniforms. Right now we do, some type of clothing allowance, but there's no real structure to this. There's no policy to this. There's nothing. So I've got that on the list to be added in. A policy on mobile cell phones, contract review and execution. And these are some of the sections that he's highlighted. But I didn't know if you guys, when you guys had reviewed them over the last few weeks, if there's anything that you guys for sure didn't like that he had suggested to change, or.
I haven't had a chance to really read through all of it. But I know one thing that came up when I looked at the original one a lot was the handling of like performance reviews and stuff. Having the current one has a lot of roles for the mayor that probably doesn't make sense for the mayor to be the only person to.
And I do agree with like the performance review thing, but I guess we give a 3% raise automatically every year, and then they're like, well, what about performance raises? Well, I mean, like, I don't know. In my profession, a 3% raise is a pretty good raise in a year's time. So I mean, I think we kind of need to pick what we're doing here. Guaranteeing a 3%, and then to give performance raises on top of that. I mean, then how do you 5% raises on a $40,000-$50,000 salary starts on a $60,000 salary starts, or pay a year, like those things kind of start adding quickly. So I mean, and so the performance reviews though, that's something that hasn't been done, wasn't done last year. Haven't done one since I've taken over either though. But
Performance reviews can be a little tricky, speaking as a lead manager at where I work. I have a few people that report to me, and for them to be successful, you have to make sure that the criteria is very laid out and well known. One thing that I usually go into performance reviews as a manager is really the person being reviewed. the meeting or the review itself should not be a surprise, put it that way. Like, it's one of those things where if someone goes in thinking that they're doing a heck of a good job and they go in there and you tell them, well, you haven't been doing that great, there's been a problem in communication somewhere. Someone didn't set clear expectations, and then vice versa. So,
And I'll be honest with you, I think we should do evaluations. I think it would also be really beneficial to, and I'm working with Rural Water to set up a management and job descriptions for people. It's hard to hold people accountable for jobs when you just have like a whole maintenance department. So who's accountable for what? Who's accountable for hydrants? Who's accountable for the, like, you can't just, there's nothing delegated out. There's no responsibilities delegated out. I have several employees that really don't have to find job descriptions. I mean, they all have jobs. They're all working, but it's hard to say, well, this was your job. Why didn't this get done? When a lot of them aren't even sure what they're supposed to be doing or accountable for. I'll just be honest with you. There's not been much management going on for the city. The lack of a city administrator that we don't have. And we have a position for that in the books. We don't have a utility director, which is the reason why our utilities is in the shape that it's in. But there really has not been much management going on, and unfortunately, it's hard to give a performance review when they don't know what the expectations are of them right now.
As a
But it needs
teacher,
to
I
be
think
cleaned up.
we get evaluations every year. That didn't necessarily mean you get a raise. Just your performance, I mean, you can be evaluated, they get a raise.
Oh yeah, no, I 100% agree with that. I was just saying it's hard because have had people ask about these performance raises, and I'm like, we haven't even done performance reviews, but I mean, we're giving a standard 3% raise, so I don't know.
Yeah. Way we handle it, I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but there's like a percentage range that essentially what happens for us, we get an email that says so and so is due for the performance review this month, blah blah blah, here's the criteria, the guidelines, and it'll be like, if they're doing well but there's no title bump, then it's like let's say 2 to 5% or something, or 6%. But then if they get a title bump, that ups their percentage as well. So it's like, sure, you have 3%, but I'm not sure. I don't know the inner workings of the city's title situation when it comes to employees or how that works. But I mean, I would think theoretically that if someone's doing really well at their job and they get promoted for it of some fashion, and that is your performance, bump on
And
top
I mean,
of it.
they're getting raises for licenses. So I mean, they get raises because we did the raise pay scale last year. Was that when we redid it? And I mean, I personally think it needs to be cleaned up better. It's really hard. I mean, like, you're trying to compare. It needs to be cleaned out better. Your licensed people from non-licensed employees, those kind of things better. But there's a lot of things that benefit-wise, raises is a benefit that we need to figure out. They are in this. I think that when we increase the vacation for the first year to 2 weeks, so essentially our policy is they can't take it for the first 6 months, but then they get 96 hours of sick time in a year. So essentially they're getting 4 weeks off in 6 months, basically. Like, I don't know if maybe moving that to 2 weeks the first year was a good idea. Maybe we should have kept it at 1, but there's one thing they are changing in this policy is that if people quit, they don't get their sick time payout, which is something right now we're paying out. And right now, that's the other thing, the amount of time they're allowed to bank for the sick time. That was something else he was going to discuss the pros and cons of going to just this, like, a PTO type program as opposed to the sick and the vacation, and how we're letting them accumulate them and those kind of things. Because right now they all have short-term disability.
Did we ever pass a resolution to fix the people that were affected from the,
Yep.
I was gonna bring it up, but we're talking about it, so.
No, we have not. and they can't really fix it until we know what we're doing going forward though. Does that make sense?
I get that.
Well, it was back when we changed the PTO policy and it was fumbled in implementing it, and
We
there
changed
were
it in
employees
November.
that lost out on PTO because of that.
Palmer's
We-
the only one that he's done that, so you don't put him.
Okay, well, like, cause we voted for that in November and then they never implemented the change until, yeah. But there was a bunch of, I didn't know if there was anything that stood out for you guys that you guys wanted to take out or you guys leave in, if you guys wanna start coming, cause you guys are the ones essentially to put this together and vote on this. This is what you guys set policy and ordinances and all this, so this is kinda
I
like,
need to look at it
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
okay. Well, I mean, it's gonna be a multiple step thing, because we're gonna meet with them at some, then we'll go back and forth, cause this was just the very first thing, so if you could, would you like Megan to print you out full pages instead of these smaller pages?
This is fine with me.
Yes.
I can't
Okay,
speak
Joyce
what other
knows.
people
Does anybody
have.
else?
It was a lot of pages to print
Does-
at a time.
does
that's why-
anybody
No,
else-
that's
what-
like Madison model, that could be a big print for overview.
Does anybody else need a full page print?
Other than Joyce.
I'm managing on this.
Okay, so everybody's gonna take their small prints home with them. And go and look at them, and
Which
then
was-
Marty has provided his policies, and I think all the departments at this point have provided their, cause this supersedes any department policy. So this is it, and then we need to make sure their department policies are following our policy, basically, so. After, can't remember if we meet with him before or after the next meeting. I think
No,
it
it's
is.
the same day.
Oh yeah, no, it is the same day. So I will have more information for you at the meeting, the next meeting then, after him and I sit down and talk. Now we're gonna move on to projects. So we have several water projects and sewer projects. We have the lagoon clean out sewer project that also is including changing out some aerators and some other fixes at the sewer plant. We have also gotten together the I&I project, which would complete the agreed order for the sewer that they've been under since 2018. We are not currently getting any kind of violations. I mean, so essentially we could try and go argue that we've, satisfied the agreed order. That's the whole point of the agreed order, is to keep us from getting violations. We have not been getting any, but I think it's important because we do have a lot of I&I that we go ahead and we went after the grant money. And then once, hopefully we can get some more of that done, then we'll go to them about their agreed order and see if we've satisfied that and can terminate or be done with that. We have asked for, there's several, right now it's like the time to get your projects in for the funding cycles for the next years. So we've got the application in to KY Waters for the I&I project, which is basically water that's getting into our sewer system that we don't need to treat storm water, but just regular water. So we've gone after that, and we're also trying to go after the revolving loan through the state. But those projects, we have to still wait to get prioritized because we have to prioritize within the county and then the region. And they're saying kind of that everyone's ones kind of get picked, and then it's however you're ranked in the order the first time, you stay in that order for the second round, third round type thing. The districts both put in, Butler put in a sewer project. So we have 2 sewer projects in, and Butler's putting in a sewer project. And I think Butler's going after the revolving fund for their project. The lagoon project we have funded already through a different thing. So we still are waiting to get our ranking with us and Butler on how we rank out on the sewer project that we need funded, and that's just going to be for the I&I and their project. For Butler, the only 2 sewer projects for Pendleton County. The water side, we have put together a project for lead and galvanized pipe replacement. It's the last year that it's a request basically from the revolving fund that they're asking for this project to get done. It's like lead galvanized pipe. And we don't have any lead pipes, it's for main and service lines. We have galvanized pipes though, so we're gonna try and get that replaced with this grant money. And then they are putting in the project for the water plant, for the electric upgrade and the clear well that sits behind the water plant. They had, I guess, painted and repaired one a couple of years ago. They still need to do the other one back there, so we're trying to get the money for that. There are 2 other water projects that are going after the revolving fund. One is for Pendleton and one is for East Pendleton, for both the water districts. East Pendleton is looking to, it's like 4 miles of clay pipe or something running out towards Kincaid that they're trying to get grant money for. And Pendleton is looking for Pendleton County grant money to expand their water line that's in Campbell County into Grants Lickmore. Was their project. So I don't know for sure how we're ranking yet. We're still working that out with the ad as far as what Pendleton County's projects we ranked in what order. And then we have the regional meeting in December where we will rank them regionally to see where we stand. But the hope is that we can maybe get one of our projects funded out of the state revolving fund. And we're hopeful that the KY Waters will fund a lot of the I&I for us also. But those are kind of the projects that our water and sewer have been working on. It's been a lot of work to get it all together, and they've done a really good job. So that has kind of slowed down the focus on like some of the hydrants and things like that. The other thing though is that last week we're on the ArcGIS now. We're mapped our infrastructure is, the water and the sewer infrastructure. They are going through still and updating and moving. Some of our maps will say the water line's on this side of the street, and realistically, it's really on the other side of the street. So this will fix all that. And they're not gonna have to use these drawn maps anymore. I mean, everybody can get the app on their phone. There's different levels, even the public can have access to it on their phone. There's different levels of information that people can have, and of course, like if we have a contractor that's going to do work, we can give them access and they can pull things. I think they've given Bob Miller access for him to kind of get some more information so we can finally get these rate studies finished, which I think they've gotten 90% of his information to him at this point. But I think that's kind of where we're at with the projects right now. We're getting it together. Oh, and Christian has been at a rural water management conference the last 3 days. And so he has said that's been very beneficial with it's kind of like how we go to our KLC training. It's kind of the same concept. They're in a conference room and it's a bunch of information and discussion. So hopefully we can get some more employees to, I think Levi's registered or he's getting registered to go to other collections or distributions. They were working on it.
I think they were working on it. I don't know if it
So I think he's the next one that's eligible to go get his collections and distribution licenses if he wants. So we're trying to get the guys' licenses done as soon as they're eligible. But that is all I have. Do you guys have any committee reports?
We didn't meet today.
That's right.
We made the school
Yeah.
dinner.
Okay. Council comments? Public comments?
I probably need to give you one update, and not only do I just sit here, because it's in the city limit, the industrial park, is in the city limits. So we are applying for, KPDI money, which is through the Cabinet for Economic Development, partnership with, KAED, which is Kentucky Association for Economic Development, and Site Selection Group. We just finished our due diligence. We received $25,000 with a 15% match. The Industrial Authority covered that. The remaining of that is a $1.9 million project where we will go out there, finish all the way as far back until that wooded area will become paved, and any water or sewer will be run into that, and some lateral lines. and, landscaping. We're looking to do buffer landscaping along 27, replace the sign, and do lighting down the street. It's kinda dark out there. And try to make it more aesthetically pleasing to attract an industry. We have made it through the preliminary review. We just, the industrial authority has agreed to the match amount, and we will be submitting our final letter of intent to ask for, the 1.9 mil. Of that, 500,000 would be for what's called a dirt pad. It would be site ready. Basically, all they have to do is permit up, build. That gets them, everything they need to build up to 150,000 square foot building. We just finished with Duke Energy to do a site ready, assessment. They have identified, based on our utilities and infrastructure, that we are in fairly good shape. We could do some improvements in the electricity, but we are ample. If we attract an industry, we could sufficiently supply them the infrastructure, water, sewer, gas, everything they need. They did also identify target industries that we can go after. So once we get the KPDI done, we get everything done out there, you'll have a finished up to spec street that will be aesthetically pleasing. The only thing it will not have is sidewalks. We'll put curbing and all that will go through. But since that is the city limits, I just have to think, I guess I'll let you know about it.
Thank you. Sounds like it's gonna be nice.
Yeah, I think it is. We're real excited about it.
I think the only other thing that I have is the Christmas festival is coming along. Thank you to our volunteers, Joyce and to Lindy out here. And we've had several people come in and come to our meetings and help. We've got other people that are offering, we've got bouncy houses. We have secured a grand marshal for the parade. I did check with tourism because it's tourism's parade. And Marty had reached out, and this came at a request from John Peoples, was to see if Kyle and the other officer, Mitch, do you know what, is it Mitchell?
Wilhelm maybe? Something like that.
The other
I'm not
deputy
sure.
from Boone County to be the grand marshals. And so Marty had reached out. They would be honored to, obliged to do it.
Great idea.
Tourism Council was graciously on board. And so we're gonna move forward with that. We have Santa, we've got the Grinch, we've got volunteers, we have a wonderful lady cutting out some Whoville, scenery type things that we're gonna be painting. So for not starting this week, starting the weekend after that, I believe it's like the 15th, we will be in City Hall. We're gonna start decorating. So you guys are more than welcome to come. Bring your families, whatever. We're going to be painting, and we are going to start decorating and getting things going. We are also going to do a couple contests. We're going to do a contest for the business owners for a chance for them to win. I think it's like $100 is what we were looking at doing, like $100 gift card or Visa card to like the most decorated business, and we're going to have them voting start like that Monday and run it through Friday on Facebook, and just make it a Facebook vote where the public can vote on whichever business that they want to be considered the most festive business. And so if you guys know anybody that wants to get time on the stage, whether they're carolers, singers, performers, food trucks, volunteers, people that want to set up a table, we are going to have Santas to letters to Santa here in the council chambers. We're going to host Santa Claus out here in the hallway. We're going to let my office be the Grinch's lair, whatever. The firehouse is going to be open with snacks so it's warm. We're going to put the inflatables. David Field said we can use the front courtyard area. So it's kind of all in this area here is where they're going to set up the inflatables. We'll have the stage open. We'll have Shelby Street shut down. Next year, though, we are going to try and get a request in soon enough to see if we can get 22 shut down. But you have to put a request in way in ahead. So we're gonna try and see if we can't figure that out for next year. But this year, we're gonna shut Shelby down from Maine all the way down to Montjoy this year.
But I have to say that I contacted Mary Edith Woodhead, Hillenmeyer. A lot of times, they have a funeral, so we have to be careful in there. I told her, let's shoot, of course, they won't know until.
Yeah. Okay. Well, worst case, then we'll have to figure that out. Hopefully they won't.
What day is the festival?
The 6th of December.
We said,
So it's coming up soon. It's the weekend after Thanksgiving. So if you guys want to come help decorate, you're more than welcome to come help. I think that's it. We just need a motion to adjourn.
We motion to adjourn.
Everybody in agreement?